I am back, baby. It's Wednesday, new week, short week. We got some RC submarines to build. My name's Bob Martin, the RC sub guy with the Nautilus dry docks, and I think we need to get on to building a shark. So yeah, I am back from my trip to Canada, which was a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure. Had a family reunion, 50 of Renee's relatives. That was a lot of relatives to deal with. Then I made it up to Alberta and saw my parents, which was 3 days. That was just about the right amount of time, I think. Now I'm recharged and ready to go. We got two main projects that we're going to be working on here a little bit. I want to finish up the shark, and I also want to start trimming the Typhoon. Now, the RC Shark, as you guys may or may not remember, is going to be an upcoming kit that I offer. The idea behind this is I'll offer the 3D files and or the opportunity for you guys to get parts like this, which are fully printed and ready to go. And then I got a parts list, and of course you guys have been following, so you know how this thing is going to be put together. You can have your own shark. And the Typhoon, this particular one is a little 38-inch. It's not that little, I guess. It's little for a Typhoon. Fully custom deal. It's going to have a lot of cool things in it, and we need to trim this in the pool so we can get to final assembly, paint, and all that other goodness. But before we do, I got one thing I wanted to show you. If you guys have been on Facebook lately, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws. One of my favorite movies, and all over Facebook, they've been showing these 50th anniversary mugs. And I'm like, man, those things look cool. I need to get one. But I'm not going to pay $40 or whatever it is these guys are advertising on Facebook. So I did a little bit of research, and I found them on AliExpress. They got delivered while I was away. I want to show you what I got. I got two. I got version A and version B. Or maybe it's A and B, something like that. In the pictures, these things look huge, but you can see these are not that huge. And in typical Chinese fashion, this is the type of quality that we got. They just kind of hot glued it together. Maybe it'd be better if I just, maybe I'll just paint the inside of it. Or, more likely, these are just going to be display mugs. They are probably not very comfortable to drink from, I would say. But, nonetheless, I think they look pretty neat. All right, next steps on our shark. I have our box secured in here with some RTV, right in the middle-ish. You want to make sure you have good access to all of your bolts so that you can take the lid on and off. And what I've done, I've taken my connector here, disconnected it from the box, and now we're going to be wiring in our motors. And one thing I want you to note is, back when I had this wired, I made sure to mark each one of these. I put notches in. Can you see that? Little notches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I know which wire corresponds to which motor lead, so that all of my work to get everything paired up and working properly is not for naught. I'm using these waterproof connectors, and I'll be soldering all of these together, and then we'll have power connected to our thrusters. The waterproof connector has been connected with the waterproof connectors. Yeah. So these are all completely waterproof and sealed. I'm not going to plug it in yet because this is still curing in here. We don't want to have it move or anything because of the tension of the wires. But what I'm going to do, take our waterproofed battery that we've been working on earlier, and I've got some Velcro with some tape on there. And what we're going to do is put some two-sided Velcro tape on the battery, and the battery, as I showed earlier, is just going to live right on top of the container. So the battery can be completely removed. You know, come to think of it, what might be kind of cool would be to use two-sided tape, which would be more of a, not permanent, but, you know, solid connection. Because if you wanted to charge the battery, what you could do is just pop off these bolts and the whole door would come off, because after every run you've got to check in there for water anyway. And this would make it so you have to. Yeah. Kind of like that idea. We're going to two-sided tape this sucker. I just decided. And it's going to live right on top like that, which is going to be low in the hull, because this is upside down right now, providing a lot of stability. Yeah, let's go grab some two-sided tape. Let's quickly talk about electrical connectors here for the main drive battery. Now, this is the EC5 connector. You see it in like RC vehicles all the time. Depending on what battery you get, you know, you may have a different connector. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not waterproof, you know. It's pretty waterproof, and it's more than enough waterproof for our applications. All we're going to do is use a little dielectric grease in here, which will not only make it easier to connect, but it'll insulate the plated connectors on the inside. Not worried about that at all. What you do need to worry about, though, is this little balance port on any lithium polymer battery. So you can see it's pretty delicate. You know, there's lots of little connections in here. What I have found is these little nylon covers, and I got this off of eBay. They're 3D printed in flexible nylon, and all you do is just press fit. This is going to be hard to do with one hand. These over your balance charger, like that, your balance port. If you put some grease in there, this will be completely protected from any sort of water ingress, and it'll preserve all of the connections and everything in there. So you're going to need to grab some of these off of eBay. If you look around online, you'll also see there are some people who've printed caps for these, or have 3D files to offer. I found this for a 2S lithium polymer battery, and I printed my own. So those are out there. Check out eBay. You'll get your covers. Regardless, you're going to need to make sure that this is protected. If you can't find the cover and you're really struggling with that, you could generously slather it with grease and, you know, hope for the best. I've got everything in there, and I'm just waiting for the silicone to cure. And the other thing I did is I put some adhesive on the back side of that connector, just to make sure no water gets into the back side of the connector. I'm going to make sure we keep the water out of where we don't want the water. Before we address gluing on the shark head, which is going to sit like this kind of thing, I want to paint the inside of the mouth, so it'll be easier than when it's outside. So I just grabbed some pink spray paint, which I happen to have in here, and we're going to hit the inside of the shark mouth. Shark gums painted. When we get to painting the body, we're going to have to put some pink in here as well. And just as a back in time moment, what might have been a good idea is for me to have shot some paint as much as I could through the openings for the thrusters, and painted the inside of the thruster box. Because when you look in, you may see, you know, that fluorescent green, you know, part on there. I really don't think this is a big deal at all. You'd have to be in the water to see it. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my rotary tool and with the sanding drum, and we're going to go ahead and clean up some of this. These are just artifacts from the 3D files. I'm going to grind these down, smooth them all out, grab some sandpaper, make it look nice. So we're into more cosmetic stuff at this point, and you'll see I've applied a little bit of filler. It's just body filler. You can get it at, you know, any auto store and that kind of thing. But now we need to make a decision. I designed this in such a manner that the head can be removed. So I was thinking you just use a little RTV, stick it on, and then if for whatever reason the thrusters were to fail on you, you just pop the head, pry the head off, and you could quickly and easily swap out the thrusters. The thing is, the thrusters are pretty bulletproof, and the odds of something going wrong with them in any, reasonable period of time is pretty darn low. So you need to make a decision. Are you gonna just stick the head on like this with RTV and call it good? I mean, this seems pretty good, right? It's a nice sharp seam. Or you could stick it on more permanently and fill it, sand it, and then you'll never see that seam, and you just kind of risk not being able to swap out the thrusters. Or you do a hybrid. You stick the head on with RTV, so it's a non-permanent, adherence. And then if you ever need this apart, you would, jam the screwdriver in there, pop it apart. The filler would split, and then you would get access. So you got to make a decision. I think I'm going to fill it. I think I'm going to RTVify it on, and then fill it. I trust you. I trust you, thrusters. You won't let me down, will you? Little side project here. So a lot of people have been reaching out looking for snorkels for their watertight cylinders for the air intakes. And Merriman did a really cool job a while back making float actuated snorkels with blocks of styrofoam. Number one, he's not making them anymore. And number two, they're pretty large. And for some boats, like the 96, like skipjack and blueback and stuff, where the sails are, like 4 millimeters wide and you just can't get them in there, it was problematic. So did a bit of research and was pointed in the direction of some 3D files. And I went about modifying them, finding a float ball. And this is what it came up with. So this little unit here uses a ball float, and the interior is contoured to perfectly fit the diameter of the ball. And the idea is, and I just tested it and it works perfectly, by the way, it'll suck air when it's above, and as soon as it goes down, that float goes up, nestles against the top, seals it off, but not perfectly. And that's the secret sauce. Because if it's a perfect seal when you surface, if your pump is on, air pressure would keep that ball sucked up tight, and it wouldn't open the valve. And so a little bit of leaky is exactly what you want. I tested it in the pool from just sucking on it, and it'll just pull just a little tiny few drops through at a time. And as soon as it breaches the surface, releases. Works awesome. I'm super excited about it. So I got a few of them printed out here, and I got a bunch of these little balls off of Amazon, 8 millimeter plastic balls. They're hard to find, but yeah, I might put these up on the website. Here, look and see if they're there. They're there. We are doing a little bit of work on the Ohio this morning. Ran into an issue with it. So Logan glued it and fiberglassed it, but unbeknownst to him, the surface that he was working on was curved, and the entire hull was humped about 3/4 of an inch, which is not good at all. So we're redoing things here right now with a perfectly flat surface, and what we had to do was notch all of the joints. You can see we cut them. And now we're going to redo it. We'll flip it over, get it on the flat surface, tack it, and then re-fiberglass. It's really, really important when you're assembling hull sections, and especially all these 3D hull sections, because there's so many of them, that you get perfect alignment, especially on the first one that you do, be it the upper hull or the lower hull. Because then when you assemble the second part, you can use the first part to put them on, and then they'll perfectly mate up when you put them together. So yeah, tip to the wise, perfectly flush surface. Take your time. Make sure everything is perfect as you go. And you'll save yourself some work later on. Grabbed a couple things off eBay. I've never owned one before, although I've owned its little brother. So this is the TT Robotics Seawolf Ocean Master. And I got pointed to the auction by a customer, and I figured I'd grab them because they're amazingly functional little boats. Wow, is that a case?
Yeah, it's like a full suitcase.
Holy moly. All right, maybe I need to give you a hand. Look at that. Oh, look at the shininess. Wow. I'm excited now so far. Here we go. Holy, and it's my favorite color too. My Viper was this color back when I had that years and years ago. So this is the Thunder Tiger Seawolf Ocean Master. So this can operate in full salt water environments because it's tethered like that. Look at the prop on that thing. It's huge. Probably, gosh, 2.5 inches diameter, I'm betting. I don't know. I mean, if you want to goof around in the salt water, it'd be cool. But what if you don't? What if you just want to whip around in your swimming pool or something, right? So what we're gonna need to tear into this thing. For now, we're gonna close it up and pretend it doesn't exist because we got other stuff going on here. But once that gets off the bench, maybe we'll throw that on the bench, tear into it, and see what makes it tick. It's pretty cool. It's had a lot of upgrades over the old Neptune, I think. Look at those dive planes. Holy cow. They're huge. All right. Well, we have a plan. We'll just. So I got one quick thing to share. I'm pretty excited about, and before any of you guys get excited about it, don't reach out to me wanting one of your own. This is a favor for a friend. But if you want, you can buy your own 3D printer and do this yourself. It would be cheaper, infinitely cheaper for you to do that than to get me to print it, because this is a big project. These are the beginnings of an 8-foot long Disney Nautilus. This is obviously next to the salon on the starboard side. Old Frank, my buddy Frank up in New York, decided he wants one. He doesn't know what he's going to do with his custom replicas Nautilus. Could be that that's going to come on the market, but we're going to print this one all up. It's based off of my 48 scale files. This is double the size, 24th scale, 1 inch shorter than 8 feet long. So we're printing this off. This is the wheelhouse getting printed here right now. Like I said, these are about $1,200. You could buy your own 3D printer, buy the files, do the scaling, and print it out, and you'd have one of your own. This is all ABS glass filled. This boat is going to be cool. I'm going to tape everything together when it's done. It's probably going to take another week or two to get all the parts, but once it's done, I'm going to tape it together and show you guys what this thing looked like when it's done. All right, we're going to start out this morning with an introduction of a new tool I'm going to give a shot. And for any of you that like 3D printing, this could be something that really helps you out. So I got this upgraded 220 watt plastic welder off Amazon for like $30. And this is what it looks like. It comes with all sorts of extra stuff. Look at this. We got a utility knife, some side cutters. I'm sure these are all super high quality. Some various plastic, more various plastics, and some more various plastics. And the staples, which are the most important thing. Some of you guys may have seen this before. You can use it to repair like plastic wheelbarrows and car dashes and that kind of thing. So we're going to give this a shot to put tack the upper hull of Ohio together. We'll find out together. Is this going to work? And if so, we may have found a new way of going about this. So when you use this, this is what you end up with. The metal actually fuses into the parts, and then you just trim off these little legs afterwards. I used 4. This seems really solid. Now, obviously, this is going to be for RC, so this would all get fiberglassed afterwards. But for tacking it together, this works pretty good, because what we found, sometimes the CA will let go when you're fiberglassing. So we'll see. This is not ideal for use with these flanged situations. It's better if it's a butt joint, which that big Nautilus that I'm working on is going to be. So let me show you actually fusing something together. You can see what that looks like, and then you can tell me whether you think it's going to work for you. All right, let's see what we can do here. Putting this on a perfectly flat surface, aligning it perfectly. Press it down onto the plastic, pull the trigger, let it sink in there, release, let it cool down, and that's it. This is that flange. So you got to melt all the way through the flange into the main body. And I guess you got to kind of hold it until the plastic reconstitutes itself. There we go. And there we go. Looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. All right. Well, I think this was working. Is it ideal in all circumstances? No, probably not. But like that big Nautilus, I think that's going to work really, really good to tack it together, and you go piece by piece. And the reason I want to do it that way is that there's really like 4 or 5 points of contact that I can tack it all together with, take some pictures, make sure it looks super cool, and then I can undo them just with the Dremel, just pop those little seams apart, and then ship it to Frank. So there you go, another little tool for the arsenal, perhaps. Well, with this thing coming along here pretty well, and that thing coming along there pretty well, and that poor thing languishing without me doing anything on it, we're gonna leave it off here for the week. It's actually Sunday when I'm doing this right now, and we're having like a last day with Logan kind of scenario. We got some brunch planned, and we're gonna be out doing some cool things, some like activity center or something this afternoon. So I'm gonna stop what I'm doing here, download all this footage, start editing it, and get it uploaded. But this next week coming up, we're gonna get the shark in the water, 100%. We're gonna get the Typhoon in the water for trimming, 100%. And we're finally gonna get Ohio off the bench so that we can start working on that super awesome Seawolf. See if we can convert that thing over to wireless operation. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. So, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like and subscribe. Do all the things that is required of you as a loyal viewer of the Nautilus Dry Docks. Drop your comments down below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And with that, I will let you go. You have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.